All right, we are back on the Doug Soravo Show. Mark, it's great to see you again, buddy.
You too. It's been a long time.
Oh, it has. We gotta get Andrew back on sooner or later if he finds the right Wi-Fi.
Yeah, maybe I'll send him my old router.
You should.
I should.
All right, so Bruins versus Capitals start tonight. What are your keys for each team?
I think the big headline for this series is that Zdeno Chara is playing his former team in the playoffs. I think the key is just neutralizing his big body for the Bruins. For the Capitals, I say hammer pucks to the net to get past Rask. I mean, he's a good playoff goaltender. Minus the few hiccups he had the last couple seasons, but I think it's going to be a 6 or 7 game series. I mean, it's going to be a good one.
I think so too. And if you believe in conspiracy theories, I'm sure people are going to be like, "Oh, here we go." Tom Brady left the Patriots, went to Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl. Mookie Betts left the Red Sox, well, he got traded to the Dodgers, won a World Series. So will this be another one where we see Zdeno Chara, who left the Bruins after, I believe, 13 years, win a Stanley Cup in Washington?
I don't know if the Capitals have what it takes to go very far, just because they don't have the depth like the other teams have. They have a good first two lines, but other than that, I mean, the defense is pretty weak. Bruins don't have depth either, so it's going to be a very interesting series on how the Capitals handle the perfection line and Hall and all those guys.
Yeah, the thing for me with the Capitals is I don't really trust their goaltending. And then ever since they got rid of Vrana and Panic, I don't trust their depth at all. This ain't the 2018 Capitals team where they had Smith Pelly, Brett Connolly, all these great guys. This ain't the same team.
Well, look what Verona has done in Detroit since he's been traded. I think he's like third in goals for players that have been traded at the deadline. I think Carter's one or two for the Penguins. So it's that's a depth player that you need that was traded along with Ponick. So can Anthony Mantha fill in that void of those two players gone? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we shall see. So we talk about the keys. What are the differences going to be in this series for each team?
The Bruins want to avenge their playoff loss last season in the bubble. I think they need to get more scoring going. You can't win games, 1-0, 2-1. It's just it hurts your goalie. If the guy's got to face 35 shots and try to keep the score low. Yeah, so I would say the key for the Bruins is just get somehow generate more offense. I think getting Taylor Hall at the deadline was absolutely huge. You
Oh, for
know,
sure.
I mean, he's been lining it up since he got traded.
Yeah, that was a great move for the Boston Bruins and Taylor Hall too. So let's get on to Taylor Hall. Is this going to be a make or break postseason for him?
I would say yes because this is the best team he's been on since entering the NHL. Um, if he wants to win a cup, he's got to show up, and that's why they traded for him. He's got to be the guy that sends this team to the Stanley Cup. And the question is he that type of player?
Yeah, we had the Devils postseason, 5 games. He didn't really show much. I think he had that one goal in game three. Crowd was electric. And then,
Fun going on.
it basically fell apart from there as we lose in game four and then we lose in game five. So I do believe this is going to be important for Taylor Hall. But will it also be important in regards for a contract extension for Taylor Hall, or will he be back in free agency?
It depends what the Bruins have in cap space and what they want to do. I think they want to keep him, but it all depends on
He said
how
he
much
loves it
money.
there.
I mean, he has almost the quadruple amount of goals he had at Buffalo. So I guess we'll see what happens. Me personally, I think they're gonna re-sign him because they need that's what they need. They need goal scorers.
Yeah, I think Taylor Hall is going to stay in Boston for the remainder of his career. But that's just my opinion.
I agree with that as well.
So let's go to Washington. What impact will Tom Wilson have on this series? Will it be a distraction, or will he bring what they need to win a Stanley Cup?
He's always an element in the playoffs, either a big hit, controversial hit. He's going to get a team stirred up and he's going to get his team pumped up. So it's just a matter of how the Bruins respond if he does something. Do they avenge whatever happens with a goal, or do they avenge with penalties and bad play? I'm going to go back to let's say the 2012 Penguins when we versed the Flyers. How did we avenge a hit? We took a penalty, and that killed us. It was look at that series. It was like 7-3, 8-6, 10-1. It was crazy scores. So the Bruins have to solidify what they want to do with Tom Wilson. And for me, if he hits you, hit him right back.
And that Flyers Penguins series started way before the postseason. I remember that line brawl with Joe Vitale.
Yep. Yep. This huge line roll. Um, and then Giroux, I'm not sure if it was game one. I think it was game one, like 20 seconds in, crushed Crosby into the boards, and that kind of set the tone for the series.
So goaltending, we know Boston has Tuukka Rask. Washington, do we know who they're going with? Is it Samsonov or Vanacek?
I believe. Let me see what they have here. I think they're gonna go with Samsonov, but let me go check that field.
Because their goaltending for me is not consistent, and I don't think they have the goaltending to even
Looks
get out of the
like
first round.
looks like Vitek Vanacek will get the start tonight.
So Vanacek is going for the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, and then that's the weakness right there. And that's the biggest question mark. Can Vanacek or Samsonov take this Capitals team to the Stanley Cup? I personally think they won't even get out of this first round.
Yeah, I think this is a one and done for the Washington Capitals, and I do believe Ovechkin is a free agent. We'll see what happens. So I think this is an important playoff series for the Washington Capitals. They
For the
basically,
future, I think.
for the future, they basically have to win this because who knows where they go moving forward with Ovechkin. I assume he's going to come back. Who knows what the future is going to be like in regards to their goaltending? They don't really have that elite goaltender. Everyone thought Samsonov would have been this up and coming goaltender. He's had his struggles. Again, it's a COVID year. That's no excuse. But where do we see this Washington Capitals team going, win or lose in this post first round of the postseason?
I can't see them getting past the first round. Then after that, does Ovechkin want to stay in Washington? Or does he want to go someplace where he has a legit shot of winning multiple cups? I've heard rumors that he might go to Long Island to reunite with Barry Trotz. New arena, possibly new jerseys. Um, could be a new beginning for Ovechkin. Um, it all depends on what happens this playoff. So that's what I really think. If they can't get anything going, the biggest thing that they have going for themselves this postseason is that Chara is on their team playing against his former team. That's the only thing they have going because that can really pump up a player and pump up a team.
Yeah, especially when you have Zdeno Char, longtime captain, won a Stanley Cup, and now he's in Washington. And I'm sure he knows about the Brady to Tampa, Mookie to LA. To be that third guy to leave Boston and win a championship has to be interesting to achieve.
I agree.
So now let's get to Boston. What is on the line for them, win or lose?
Lose, Rask is done in Boston. Win, Rask is done in Boston. I think he's done. I don't see him being a Bruin when you have Jeremy Swayman and Dan Vlador, who had pretty good seasons this year. So I think this will be the last time you'll see Rask in a Bruins uniform.
Where does Tuca end up?
I would assume a West Coast team, maybe Los Angeles. I don't really know. Who needs goaltending is the question.
The New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, they had Crawford, but he was like, I don't want to play for this team anymore.
Yeah, he retired. I mean,
Yeah,
nothing to take away from Mackenzie Blackwood, but if we could have a guy like Rask and Blackwood, that would be huge for us. Now, I don't think Tuca will come to New Jersey, but that would be interesting.
I don't think he would either, but it's definitely he can go anywhere. It depends on the price.
Yeah, for sure. I think anyone would go anywhere depending on the price.
You're right.
All right, so let's do a quick prediction, then we'll get into the Penguins and the Islanders. Boston or Washington, and how many games?
I have Boston winning in 7 games.
So you have a 7 game series. I think Boston is going to win this in 5 games. I just don't trust the Washington Capitals goaltending, and I definitely don't trust their depth in the third and fourth line. I
I agree
really
with.
don't.
I don't disagree. I just think they're very two similar teams of two teams with no depth. So I think it's pretty equally matched. That's why I say 7. I say the Bruins is going to win no matter what. If it's definitely not going to be a sweep, but I could definitely see it in 6 or 7 games. But I have the Bruins winning in 7.
Should be interesting. This is going to be a exciting postseason. The way it's lined up, the way it's structured. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top.
It
And
definitely
I
is.
and I know for you, you want your Pittsburgh Penguins to come out on top and win another Stanley Cup. So, what are the 3 keys for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then what are the 3 keys for the New York Islanders?
3 keys for the Pittsburgh Penguins: goaltending. How good can Jari be? Second is Jeff Carter. Will he be the same player he was in the last 4 games of the season? Third, defense. That was a problem in 2019 against the Islanders. Our defense would give up odd man rushes. It would be 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, breakaways. I think we have a much better defense this year. I think we have a much better team. I think we have the deepest team in the playoffs.
And we saw what the Islanders did last year. They were missing depth. They added Travis Zajac. They added Kyle Palmieri. So, what does this Islanders team have to do to get to the Stanley Cup final? Obviously, they have a huge test against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, what do they have to do to get past the Penguins, who's been there for many years? I believe it's 15 straight postseasons since Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin have been there. So, what does this Islanders team have to do to defeat your Pittsburgh Penguins?
Defense. They got to play like it's a game 7 every game. Once Anders Lee went down, I think it was pretty much the end of the Islanders. They when they picked up Palmieri and Zajac, I think their record was like 6-9-1 or 6-9-2. So they didn't get better at the deadline. And when Anders Lee got hurt, they was scrambling. They had no net front presence. They didn't have anybody to lead the rush. A guy like that is hard to replace, and it's just going to be hard to replace something like that. So, in order for the Islanders to beat the Penguins, I think they need defense. Stay as a defensive team as possible. Make sure the Penguins don't get those, because one chance can end up in the back of the net. They don't need 50 shots. The Penguins need 15, and they can put 3 on you. Reminds me a lot of the 2018 Tampa Bay Lightning.
So, as a Penguins fan, what is something that worries you going into this series versus the Islanders? And if anyone's watching and they are an Islanders fan, what is something the Islander fans have to worry about going up against the Penguins?
The one thing the Penguins would have to worry about is which Varlamov will they be seeing. The Colorado Avalanche Varlamov or the one we saw this year. Varlamov against the Penguins this year had an 886 save percentage, and I think he played 3 games against us or 4 games against us. That's not going to cut it. He got, Sorokin got pulled, but also got a shutout. So the question is, will Varlamov be the Leonard from 2 years ago? That's a question you got to ask yourself.
Yeah, they defeat the Penguins, and then they defeat. No, they lost to Carolina.
It was
Carolina fell
last
to
year they
Boston.
beat Washington, Philly, then lost to Anthony Cirelli's overtime winner in the conference finals.
Yeah, that was a good series.
It was a very good series. It could have easily been 7 games, but Brock Nelson missed that breakaway in overtime.
Yeah, I think they could have won that series too, but they had that bad game one where they lost 8-2. I think.
Yeah.
So for the Islanders, how important is their veteran leadership? They have Kyle Palmieri, they have Travis Zajac, Andy Green, who've been to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2012. Unfortunately, we know what happened later that series.
Jonathan Quick, maybe.
Yeah, Jonathan Quick, thanks a lot. Hell of a series. Um, Deflection goals is basically what we were able to get. Missed
Yeah.
opportunities, lost an overtime game one, game two. Could have won that series, but what can we do? That was over 10 years ago almost. So, how important is their Islanders' veteran leadership if they want to make a push for Stanley Cup this year?
It's me personally. It's very hard to go into the playoffs without your captain. They're gonna lean on the old guys, Andy Green, Zajac. You know,
Josh Bailey, you could say, Matt
yeah,
Martin.
but they don't really have a lot of playoff experience either. I mean, they have a couple of series played, but I mean the most experienced guy in that locker room is probably Zajac and Green. So the question you have to think about is, can they win without their captain? And so far, the answer is no. But
Yeah, they haven't.
we will
I think
see
there was
tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow at noon, we will see what happens.
I think there was a point at the standings where the Islanders were basically leading for a President's Trophy, could have won that East Division, and then all of a sudden, here come the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Islanders fell to that three spot. So, no,
Yeah, they fell to the 3 spot, and then the Bruins had games in hand and overtook the Islanders. So now it will be Penguins, Islanders, Caps, Bruins. 1-4-2-3.
so the Penguins didn't win it.
No, they're East Division champions. Mass Mutual East.
So it was Pittsburgh.
Washington, Boston, and New York.
So how is Pittsburgh playing? Oh, so
No,
the Islanders have the four spot.
correct.
Wow, so they really fell off.
Yeah, they were in the President's Trophy race, and then they decided, hey, I don't want to play hockey anymore.
So they really fell off because I remember the Islanders were up here. They were like 17-6 one point, I believe, and they were this team that you would think would run away.
You were scared to play them early in the season.
Yeah.
Now, not so much.
Wow. So how? If you're an Islanders fan, you got to be worried going into this postseason because this could be a series that could be over in 5 or 6 games. The way the Pittsburgh Penguins have been playing.
This could easily be a 4 or 5 game series. Easily could be. I don't. I think it's going to be a 6 game.
And I want to get to one guy in particular, Jeff Carter. We saw the impact he made with the Los Angeles Kings in 2012 when they acquired him from Columbus and they went on this great run. They won a Stanley Cup, and of course, I don't like talking about it because we all know what happened. The Devils lost. So, how important is Jeff Carter for this Pittsburgh Penguins teams?
He's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He is maybe the most key important piece to that team. Look at the 4 centers we have in Pittsburgh. We have Crosby the first line, Malkin second, Carter on the third line, and then we have Teddy Bluger on the fourth line. That is incredible amount of depth down the middle. And then you have Zucker, Kapanen, Tanev's supposed to be coming back. You got Freddie Gaudreau who's playing out of his mind. You have Rust who's playing awesome. Gensel. You know, he is Aston Reese, great penalty killer. You got so much depth in that team. Then you have Matheson who should be coming back. You have
Vinny's favorite player.
yeah. Mr. Matherson, Mr. Matherson. But you have Matheson, Cece, Letang, Dumoulin. All that depth is going to be huge, and we'll see what happens in Game 1. That usually sets the tone for the series.
So will we say this is the best team the Penguins have had since they lost to the Capitals in 2018 to win a Stanley
This is the
Cup?
best team I've seen the Penguins have since probably 2016, 2015. Yeah.
All right, predictions time. I think the Penguins are going to win this series in 5 games. I really don't see the Islanders going at it this year. At first, I thought they were, but like I said, they were at the very top. They were on this roll, and it seemed like the last few weeks, it's just been a downward spiral for the New York Islanders. So I don't see them going anywhere this season. Maybe next year, as you brought up early in the show, Alex Ovechkin is a New York Islander, reunite with his coaching staff, Barry Trotz, and they go out and give it one last try for Ovi, because who knows how long he'll have left in his career.
I
And
think once he breaks Gretzky's record, he's done.
yeah, and that could happen anytime. It could be next year or the year after. I think he's what, 35,
More
34.
than that, what is he at 7? Is it 7:30?
No, his age.
Oh, his age? Yeah, he's like 36, 7. He's
Yeah,
35.
so I
He'll be
guess once
36.
once he breaks that, it'll be his time to hang up the skates.
I agree with that. I think he has 730 goals. So he has about 50 goals to go. A little more.
Because normally you would hear something about contract extension. Normally you hear your top player, your captain, say, "I can't wait to be back. I want to return." We really haven't heard that much from Ovechkin. So, I talked to James. He says maybe he'll leave, but then he also says we really don't know. He hasn't been outspoken about wanting to leave or wanting to stay. So this summer's going to be very interesting. We got expansion draft. We got a lot of free agents, a lot of top free agents. So it's going to be interesting. So I got Pittsburgh winning this in 5 games. Mark, I assume you have the same, if not less games, maybe 4, maybe 6.
I have Penguins in 6. I think we're going to go up 3-1. Then we're going to lose, a game, and then we'll win it in New York. Which would be ideal because I'm planning to go to game 3 and 4. So
Oh yeah, local. You're not
yeah,
even stuck.
I'm not in Pittsburgh right now, but
I mean, you could probably fly up there.
I could if I wanted to. But
Yeah, I gotta make it out there sometime. Maybe next
you
year
do,
we can make a
yeah.
trip.
Well, apparently the Hurricanes might play the Penguins in the 2022 Stadium Series.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you might have to come out for that if
Oh, that'd
it's
be
in
cool.
Pittsburgh.
All
Maybe
right,
in
let's get to
PNC Park.
James.
James.
He has the Lightning and Vegas in the Stanley Cup final. Since today we basically previewed tonight and tomorrow. Let's go to the Lightning and Vegas. What does each team have to do? Vegas return to the Stanley Cup, and Lightning to repeat.
The Lightning are having Kucherov and Stamkos come back, which is absolutely huge. Two All Stars, two I believe, two heart people players. So like, the question is, is Kucherov ready to play? Is Stamkos ready to play? You never had those two guys play and be successful at the same time. So my prediction is that Lightning will beat the Panthers in 7 games in the first round. I think it will be a Penguins Lightning.
See, I
Eastern
think the
Conference
Panthers are
Finals.
going to win.
You have the Panthers winning in the first round.
Yeah,
That's definitely.
It's
It could
definitely-
happen.
it could
I
happen.
mean,
I just don't trust the health of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I mean, the thing is that Kucherov's coming back, Stamkos is coming back. This Panther team just isn't experienced enough. I mean, they have Hornquist now, who won two back-to-back cups in 16, 17. But the question is, do they have that experience? I mean, Vincent Trocheck and all these guys don't have the experience. Barkov, Ekblad's not playing. You know, can you rely on that defense as well? So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a great series. I'm excited. The
Yeah, it's
the
definitely going
Florida
to be
State
interesting.
rivalry, one of the best rivalries in all of sports.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. I think Florida has what it takes to go on a good run. Again, the experience may not be there, but I do think they have what it takes to go far. I'm not sure how far. Maybe they get to the Stanley Cup, maybe they lose it, and that could be like a learning process for them. But I do think the Panthers, they built a good program. Bringing in Bobrovsky definitely helped. The no tax in Florida helps these players come to these teams in Florida, whether it's Tampa Bay, whether it's the Panthers. You could even say the Heat, whatever
Yeah,
whatever it may be.
lounge around in Sunrise, Florida, with every time you have an off day is much better than chilling up in Manitoba. Freezing the ass off.
Because there were talks where Panarin and Bobrovsky were heading to Long Island, and Bobrovsky ended up in Florida. Panarin, I think we all knew he was going to be a New York Ranger,
I
but
thought he was going to be an Islander, but
Florida is basically where everyone goes. You don't have to
yeah.
be a professional athlete to go to Florida. I may end up in Florida for all I know.
Dougie, if you play for the Florida Panthers, you better give me some free tickets.
If I played for them,
Yeah.
I ain't that good.
What about
I mean,
this second comment by James?
maybe broadcasting I'll do the Panthers, so we'll see. It says, "Hey Doug, we would love if you would call one of our men's league games in Woodbridge or our Inman Sports Complex in Edison." Yeah, I'd definitely be down for it. I just gotta know the players'
Should we do
names.
should we do the Mark and Dougie broadcasting?
We should. We could.
We should, we
We
should
could do
definitely.
that.
I would definitely be down to go down there. Me and you. I'll
Yeah,
be
you
your
could give
color
me my
guy.
color guy.
I know
That'd be fun.
that would be. That'd
Well,
be a good time.
Mark, don't you play right?
No, I don't play. I have too much going on right
Oh,
now.
you just play
So
the roller?
yeah, but definitely be fun.
Would you mind if me and Mark come play roller hockey with you and NJ? I'm so down. Yeah, I was expecting you guys last Thursday.
I'm sorry, I got really held up at work.
Come by next Thursday, six
I
six
gotta be
o'clock.
goalie though.
Next time, I think we have two goalies. I mean, if
All
you
right.
want to be goalie and maybe James could skate out.
Yeah, I don't wear skates when I am goalie. If that's
Oh,
all right
you're
with
one of
you, though.
those.
What do you mean one of those?
I have to skate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you lose. I mean, roller probably not too much. You need the skates, but it's better. Like, how do you stop someone on a breakaway without skating backwards?
It's my secret that I will not be sharing with you, Dougie.
We play with this one guy, Tony. Oh, unbelievable.
Good player? Well, he
He's
sucks.
no, he's good.
Oh.
He's
I'll
like
tell you a
he,
funny story.
he plays goalie. He's like 69 years old.
Jeez,
I screwed.
69 years old.
Yeah, I screwed him a couple times with my defense.
Oh, I thought you meant you had sex with him. You said
Oh my
screwed him.
god, no, no. I gotta be careful with the way I speak sometimes.
I know,
All right, what's
but
your funny story?
I was at my girlfriend's brother's hockey game last night. This guy, now this is high school. This is high school ice hockey, right? This guy, first of all, had his dad tie his skates and put on his helmet. Second, his ankles were bending in. And third, he's a righty holding the stick as a lefty. It doesn't get better than that, Doug.
There's some people that don't know like what they're doing when they play hockey.
I know they're kind of lost out there. Like they think this is some sort of hobby. This is when I play. I
Oh
would
yeah,
expect
when
this
I
to.
play hockey, I'm like so like into it.
I know. You scored your sixth career goal against your brother. Like I love
Yeah,
seeing
you
those
see how I
videos.
celebrate?
I know you go nut. You put your hand up and go
Yeah, I'm like
nuts.
yeah.
I love it. I love watching those videos, though.
Like I take it so serious.
I know, and you should. I do the same thing when I score a goal against James. I'm like, going on one knee and doing the old Patty Kane.
Like it's not. There's people out there that's just like, oh, look at me. I got my skates all like taped up. I'm bending half the time.
I know.
No, I play like I take it to heart. Like if I score against James, it's like one of the best feelings in the world. And now, of course, if I score on someone else, I don't really get that excited. I'm like, yeah, like
I know. Well, it's your brother.
I
Your
deflected a
brother.
shot. I didn't care. But when I score on James, it's like it's like the best thing that I could do.
I know. I can't wait until I score on James.
Like there's no greater feeling than scoring on your younger brother.
I agree. How old is James now? 19,
James is
20?
yeah, he'll be 20 in June.
Nice. So coming up.
Yeah.
So Dougie, I do have to leave shortly. So let's get down to Stanley Cup predictions. Who do you have in the cup?
For me, I predicted Boston over the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Really?
Yeah.
I have Penguins over the Golden Knights. That's going to be a 6-game series. Penguins win for the first time in franchise history in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
think,
right.
yeah,
It's always on the road.
Vegas has more points. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's gonna be weird with the reseeding. I'm not used to that. I mean, that's how it was in the '70s, the '80s, but still,
this is
I like
weird.
the.
It's gonna be different, which is what I like. A little different. It sucks that we got to play. The good thing is the Penguins have home ice in the first 2 rounds.
Like I like the East versus West. Now
Yeah,
I'm not sure if this is going to be a forever thing moving forward.
I don't
I've
think so. Only because Seattle's going to come in and they have to put them somewhere, and they're not going to put them in the Canadian division, which only has 7 teams.
Yeah, the Canadian
So
division was for COVID, obviously, but
yeah, I think what they're going to do, they're going to go back to. They might keep Boston in the Metro and maybe move Carolina. They might be doing something different with the way the NHL's been so close. So
yeah, we'll see. Time will
yeah,
tell. It's going to be interesting for sure.
it's going to be probably one of the best playoffs we've seen
Oh, for sure,
in
definitely.
this decade. So
Because I think there will be a Canadian team in the, there will be a Canadian team at the shot for the cup this year.
yes, they will at
Because they'll be in
least
the,
a Canadian team will at least make it to the conference finals.
yeah, in the semifinal. All
Yeah,
right, so we got to wait a minute because I don't like odd numbers. So
that's fair.
yeah, well, you can
You
finish
have
it.
OCD?
Yeah, there's just something about. I don't really have OCD, but there's just something about that where I don't like when my shows finish at like maybe 1 hour, 2 minutes, or 33 minutes, 24 seconds. Like
I get that.
the 34-minute mark would be fine. It just
But
like it pisses me off.
I get it. It's gonna be a good series, and I'm excited to maybe do a show with all my Stanley Cup champion gear on.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we could do like a play-by-play or something.
Hopefully, maybe, yeah,
Yeah, we could watch a game, live stream it. Not live stream the game, but give our thoughts on it.
definitely. All right, Dougie, it's been a
All right, good.
pleasure.
We got 5 seconds, and we're in the even number. All right, we
Dougie,
did it.
pleasure. I will see you hopefully next week.
Yeah, for sure. Take care, buddy.
Take care.
All right, that was my buddy Mark Murrow for your typical Saturday podcast. I believe I might be doing play-by-play for a game on Monday, men's league again. Me and Kyle, we'll see. And then Wednesday we're going to the Philly game, so we'll have a lot of stuff to get to. Again, thank you for joining me on the Doug Strabo Show. It's always a pleasure.